Welcome to episode 73 of the 4Ps as we reach the 1-year anniversary of these videos. Now, I hope you've learned something or laughed at something, or at least not grown to resent seeing me in your feed here a few times a week. It's been a fun ride, and while the production quality has certainly not improved at all over these past few months and the year, my viewership numbers certainly have, and I appreciate you all. Though some of you more than others, and you know who you are. Had you asked me a year ago, I would have laughed in your face if you told me that I'd make over 70 LinkedIn videos. But you know what? They work. Anyone can do them. They're fun, creative, and brand building. It's like networking. And it may even help recruiters and hiring managers find you. Truth is, there are over 650 million LinkedIn users. So wouldn't it be nice to have people find or chase you instead of you looking and chasing for them? All you need to do is just turn on your camera and start doing it. Trust me, they do not have to be good for people to watch. And you're probably knowledgeable or expert in something. Some other tips that I've learned along the way: don't ramble, don't mumble, make the sound and video quality at least good enough, add captions, and use hashtags in your descriptions. But most of all, edit out anything that might get you in trouble. Like that story I told about the time, or Everything I see or hear, read about these days is someone else pursuing their side hustle. Now, I'm admittedly still getting used to the idea of this whole concept, but it's become a very popular trend or development, and you see people doing this on Instagram or LinkedIn, and it's certainly popular with millennials and Gen Z. I guess my take is, if you have that much free time, you might not be achieving all that you could in your primary hustle between family and friends and a full-time job. I know I'm far too busy to have a side hustle. To me, this is it. And it just seems like an excuse for the ADHD generation to not have to focus on any one thing for too long and get rewarded for it. So for those of you who saw some Instagram photos from me this week, you know, but I am proud to say that I have mastered how to use a pressure power washer. In this case, it was an 1800 PSI beast of a machine that helped me clean my fence at home, our backyard deck, the driveway, and that was just last weekend. It's been about 8 hours or so thus far, and have probably another 8 to 10 hours to go next weekend. But it is fun as hell. Truthfully, it's the dirtiest I've ever been, and you get to a point where you just can't physically keep more dirt on your body, and it just like falls off as it comes onto you. So if anyone needs anything power washed, I am available and ready to bring the raw power to your toughest messes. Just try me. I've been paying greater attention to Europe lately in the political sphere, especially with my professional network there growing and expanding. More recent trips that I've taken, including another one where I will be heading back to my second home in France next month. Now, this week saw significant continent-wide elections in Europe, and we saw the results of a fragmented multi-party system. Now, for those in the US who think a two-party system is bad, and it's not great, imagine having like 6 or 7 parties to choose from, and a lot of those single-issue parties. It's not better. Over there, this week, the old guard got punished. The good news is the forecasted far-right surge in the elections didn't happen. And that's largely attributed to the increased support for pro-European Union and green and liberal parties and an increased turnout across the bloc. We did see, though, some victories for nationalists and racism and ethnocentrism, which doesn't necessarily mean it's on the rise, but it's certainly more visible and open and unabashed, and it's coming as a result of immigration policy. Now, ultimately, the best way to manage immigration in these countries in the wake of humanitarian crises like the ones we see in Syria or Iraq, it's not to shut ourselves off from each other, but to be more vigilant in making sure that refugees fleeing these countries are sufficiently cared for.